Self-respect and attachment are not about becoming cold, heartless, or disconnected from life. They are about becoming so deeply grounded in your own values, identity, and inner stability that external events, people's opinions, praise, insults, presence, or absence no longer control your emotional state, decisions, or self-worth. Because true power begins the moment you stop begging the world to validate you and start validating yourself from within. Self-respect is a quiet decision to honor your time, energy, boundaries, and principles, even when it costs you comfort, approval, or relationships. While detachment is the wisdom to understand that nothing external truly belongs to you. Not people, not outcomes, not status, not money, not even moments. Everything is temporary, borrowed, and destined to change. And when you accept this truth fully, fear loses its grip, anxiety weakens, and emotional slavery ends. Stoic philosophy teaches that suffering is not caused by events themselves, but by our attachment to how we think those events should unfold. And most people live in silent misery not because life is cruel, but because they tie their self-respect to things they cannot control, how others treat them, whether someone stays or leaves, whether their efforts are noticed, whether their kindness is returned, whether their loyalty is valued. And the moment those external things fail to meet expectations, their inner world collapses because their self-worth was never anchored. Inside, self-respect begins with a brutal realization. No one has come to save you emotionally. No one will permanently understand you, prioritize you, or protect your dignity better than you can. And once you accept this, you stop over-explaining yourself. Stop chasing closure. Stop tolerating disrespect disguised as jokes, silence, neglect, or inconsistency, and you stop shrinking your standards to keep people comfortable. Because you finally understand that loneliness with self-respect is far superior to company that slowly erodes your soul. Detachment is often misunderstood as indifference, but true detachment is deeply compassionate yet firm. It allows you to love without possession, care without dependency, give without expectation, and walk away without hatred. Because you realize that clinging is not love, obsession is not loyalty, and emotional dependency is not connection, but fear wearing the mask of attachment. When you detach, you stop trying to control outcomes and instead focus on controlling your actions, intentions, and responses, which is the only true domain of power any human being has. And this shift alone transforms how people treat you, because the world instinctively respects those who do not beg, chase, or emotionally collapse under pressure. A person with self-respect does not threaten, manipulate, guilt-trip, or overprove their worth. They observe, assess, and decide quietly, and when disrespect appears, they do not argue their value. They remove access to themselves, because access is the highest currency you possess. And once you understand that not everyone deserves it, your life becomes lighter, calmer, and more focused. Detachment teaches you that you can miss someone without needing them, love someone without tolerating harm, and remember memories without wanting to relive the pain attached to them. Because healing is not about erasing emotions, but about refusing to let emotions rule you. Stoics believe that emotional freedom comes from aligning your expectations with reality, not forcing reality to obey your expectations. And this is where most people fail. They expect loyalty from disloyal people, clarity from confused minds, effort from the lazy, empathy from the emotionally unavailable, and when those expectations collapse, they internalize the disappointment as a reflection of their worth instead of seeing it for what it truly is, a mismatch of values. Self-respect grows the moment you stop taking rejection personally and start taking incompatibility seriously. Because not being chosen does not mean you are unworthy. It often means you refuse to betray yourself to fit into a space that was never meant for you. Detachment frees you from the illusion that you must constantly perform, please, or sacrifice yourself to be loved. And when you stop performing, the wrong people leave while the right ones finally see you clearly. And even if no one stays, you remain whole, because your identity is no longer outsourced. Emotional detachment is also the antidote to manipulation, because manipulators thrive on reactions: anger, guilt, fear, urgency. And the moment you stop reacting impulsively and start responding intentionally, their power dissolves. Since calm awareness is the enemy of control, this does not mean suppressing emotions, but observing them without obeying them, allowing feelings to arise without letting them dictate actions. Because emotions are information, not commands. And maturity is the ability to feel deeply without acting recklessly. Self-respect demands that you stop abandoning yourself in moments of fear. Fear of being alone, fear of starting over, fear of being misunderstood, fear of losing someone. Because every time you betray your own boundaries, keep someone else, you teach yourself that your needs are optional. And over time, this self-betrayal becomes the deepest wound of all. Detachment reminds you that people can walk away, change, disappoint, or fail you without it defining your future. Because life does not end when someone leaves. It only reveals how strong you truly are without them. Stoicism emphasizes a more fatty, loving your fate. Not because everything that happens is pleasant, but because resisting reality multiplies suffering, while acceptance transforms pain into wisdom. And once you stop arguing with what is and start focusing on what you can become, setbacks turn into training ground for resilience. Self-respect also means being selective with your energy, understanding that not every argument deserves your voice, not every battle deserves your strength, and not every opinion deserves a response. Because silence is not weakness, it is strategy, and calm is not passivity, it is control. Detachment helps you release the need to be understood by everyone. Because clarity is a gift you offer, not a debt others must pay attention to. And when you stop over-explaining yourself, you reclaim immense mental energy that can be invested in growth, skill, discipline, and purpose. A detached mind sees relationships as experiences, not lifelines. And this shift alone prevents heartbreak from turning into identity collapse. Because you learn to say, this mattered, but does not own me, which is one of the highest forms of emotional intelligence. Self-respect grows when your actions align with your values, even when no one is watching, praising, or rewarding you. Because integrity is doing the right thing without witnesses, and once you respect yourself at this level, external respect becomes a bonus, not a requirement. Detachment also teaches impermanence, that moods change, people change, circumstances change. And when you truly accept impermanence, you stop panicking during lows and stop clinging during highs, because you understand that both are temporary and balance becomes your natural state. The Stoics warn against emotional extremes because extremes enslave the mind and self-re. In the deeper layers of self-respect and detachment lies a truth most people avoid because it demands responsibility rather than comfort. You're not disturbed by people, situations, or losses themselves, but by the meaning you attach to them. And once you understand this, you stop asking why life is unfair and start asking how your interpretations are shaping your inner world. Stoicism teaches that dignity is preserved not by controlling others, but by mastering yourself. And this mastery begins the moment you realize that reacting impulsively hands your power to the very thing you claim to dislike, whether it is disrespect, neglect, rejection, betrayal, or indifference, because anything that can provoke you can control you, and a person with true self-respect refuses to live as a puppet of external triggers. Detachment is the art of observing without absorbing, of witnessing emotions without drowning in them, of acknowledging pain without allowing it to define identity, and this practice slowly transforms emotional storms into passing weather rather than permanent climates. Most people confuse attachment with love because they were never taught emotional independence. But attachment is rooted in fear. Fear of abandonment, fear of loneliness, fear of worthlessness. While love rooted in self-respect is expansive, calm, and free, capable of letting go without resentment and stay without self-erasure. When you detach, you stop seeking completion through others and start relating from wholeness. And this shift is felt instantly by the world because desperation repels while grounded self-sufficiency attracts. Self-respect demands that you examine your habits honestly, especially the habit of tolerating what slowly drains you, relationships where effort is one-sided, environments that reward mediocrity, conversations that belittle your values, and routines that dull your potential. Because staying in such spaces is not loyalty or patience, it is self-neglect, disguised as virtue. Stoic detachment reminds you that walking away is not failure but alignment, not weakness but clarity. And often the most respectful thing you can do for yourself is to leave quietly without making your pain someone else's responsibility. A detached mind understands that people act from their level of awareness, wounds, and conditioning, and while this understanding fosters compassion, it does not require tolerance of harm, because compassion without boundaries becomes self-destruction. Self-respect is not loud. It does not announce itself through threats, ultimatums, or dramatic exits. It simply adjusts behavior: less availability, fewer explanations, calmer tone, firmer boundaries, and lets consequences speak. Because mature strength does not need to convince. It needs only to act consistently. Detachment frees you from the addiction to outcomes, teaching you to invest effort without obsessing over results, to speak truth without clinging to acceptance, and to pursue growth without tying identity to success or failure, which creates an inner stability that external chaos cannot penetrate. Many people fear detachment because they believe it will make them cold or isolated, but in reality it does the opposite. It removes emotional clutter, so genuine connection can exist without fear, manipulation, or dependency, allowing relationships to be chosen rather than needed. Stoicism emphasizes that loss is not the removal of something that was yours, but the return of something that was never guaranteed. And when you internalize this principle, grief softens into gratitude, because you stop mourning possession and start honoring experience. Self-respect grows stronger when you stop over-identifying with temporary roles: partner, employee, friend, admirer, achiever, and start grounding identity in character, values, and conduct, because roles can be taken away, but character remains. Detachment allows you to face rejection without collapsing into self-doubt, understanding that rejection often reveals incompatibility, timing, or priorities rather than personal deficiency, and this perspective alone saves years of unnecessary self-criticism. A person rooted in self-respect does not chase those who pull away, does not beg those who withdraw, and does not negotiate with disrespect, because chasing teaches others how to treat you, and begging teaches yourself that your worth is conditional. Stoic discipline trains you to pause between impulse and action, and in that pause lies freedom, because every impulsive reaction strengthens emotional slavery, while every intentional response strengthens sovereignty over the self. Detachment also means releasing the need to win every argument, correct every misunderstanding, or defend every truth, because not all battles are fought to be won. Some are avoided to be preserved, and peace is often a reward for choosing silence over ego. Self-respect requires honesty with oneself about patterns. Why? You attract the same dynamics, repeat the same mistakes, tolerate the same red flags, and detachment provides the emotional distance needed to see these patterns clearly without self-hatred, because awareness without judgment leads to change, while awareness with shame leads to paralysis. The Stoics taught that your reputation belongs to others, but your character belongs to you, and once you stop trying to manage how you are perceived and focus instead on how you live, an immense weight lifts from the mind, freeing energy for a purpose rather than performance. Detachment trains you to appreciate people for who they are rather than who you want them to be, and this alone reduces disappointment, because expectations unaligned with reality are the root of most emotional pain. Self-respect is strengthened through daily discipline, keeping promises to yourself, maintaining standards even when tired, choosing long-term integrity over short-term comfort, because confidence is built not through motivation but through consistent self-trust. Detachment allows you to accept that some chapters end without explanation, some apologies never come, and some efforts go unnoticed, yet life continues, because closure is something you give yourself through acceptance, not something others owe you. A detached mind understands that suffering is inevitable, but misery is optional, created when pain is resisted rather than integrated. And this insight transforms hardships into teachers rather than enemies. Self-respect also means refusing to live in emotional debt, owing others access, loyalty, or forgiveness beyond what is healthy. Because gratitude does not require self-sacrifice, and kindness does not require self-abandonment. Detachment teaches you to let emotions pass without labeling them as permanent truths, recognizing that feelings are transient states, not accurate reflections of reality or self-worth. And this realization alone prevents countless destructive decisions. Stoic. Calm is not emotional numbness, but emotional clarity, the ability to feel without being consumed, to care without clinging, and to stand firm without becoming rigid. Self-respect flourishes when you stop outsourcing happiness to future conditions, when things improve, when someone changes, when success arrives, and start cultivating contentment through alignment with values in the present moment. Detachment helps you see that control is an illusion, influence is limited, and acceptance is power. And once you stop fighting,